Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me for today's Connection with Intention. I'm Erin Lee of heavenlymessenger.com, and I'm super excited to connect with you today. It's always a pleasure for me to be able to connect with you in this way, and I'm grateful for the time that you're taking out of your day to be here with me. So you may, if you've been around on the Heavenly Messenger page for a while, you may be aware that I did a fairly somewhat consistent hour-long show where we did live readings for people. And actually, just a moment, I'm just going to pop this one up here because we're not ready for questions just yet. And then, so yes, I used to do this show on a fairly regular basis, sometimes on Thursday nights, sometimes on Tuesday nights. And then I started doing Oracle chats with Miss Bobbi Rowntree on Sunday afternoons. And Sundays are usually my day off, but I thought, hey, if I'm already doing Oracle chats with Bobbi, why don't I start just a little bit earlier and we'll do readings on Connection with Intention. So that's what's happening today. It's not going to be every Sunday. It'll be the Sundays when I have energy, and Bobbi and I are going to be doing Oracle chats in the afternoon. So that's what's happening and why we're here. And I just see you've got a couple of people on. Hello to Ariane, or pardon me, not Ariane, Ariel. My apologies, Ariel. Hello, welcome. Thanks for joining us. And to Janess and Lisa Mary, it's wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. And and Lisa is saying that she's joining us from a house on the west coast of Vancouver Island. Amazing. It's beautiful over there. And hello to Tracy. Oh, Tracy, I have an email that I need to respond to you. And Carrie, hello. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Tracy, I will get back to you probably tomorrow, just so you know. So hellos are absolutely welcome. What we'll do today is I'm going to flash up some crystals so that we can do the choose your own crystal adventure so everybody gets a reading. I'm going to ask that you not ask your reading questions just yet because I like to give people an opportunity to hop on and to join. And I also had a little bit of a story that I wanted to share with you. At the beginning of the Connection with Intention shows, I always like to share a little something that's been happening, that's been going on. And this morning, as I was sitting and asking, what should I talk about today? I was reminded of this incredibly beautiful incident that I experienced at Thrifty Foods, which is our local grocery store, or one of them, on Sunday a couple of weeks ago. It was Sunday evening, about 8 o'clock at night. And this particular store closed at that time at 9. I think they're back to 10. Doesn't matter. So it was really close to closing time on a Sunday evening. And the next day was a stat holiday. Things were kind of busy with the tills, but not, how at the end of the night, often the cashiers are, they have their light on, but they're not necessarily at their till because they're doing the cleanup stuff and getting ready because there aren't as many customers in the store. Anyway, that was the experience that I walked into. And there was this really beautiful woman, and she was talking to the cashier who had her light on, who was just in the process of turning it off, asking where she was supposed to go to check out. And this fellow popped up and he said, "Oh, over here at number 1." And as she was starting to move into that spot, she realized that I was standing behind her, and she said, "Oh, I'm sorry, you must be first." And I said, No, you absolutely were here first before I was. Please, and take that spot." And I mean, not only was it true that she was there before me, so obviously it was her place to go, but also in a situation like that, I'm more likely to say, just go ahead, don't worry about it. I believe she may have been in pain because she was kind of limping a bit. And then her mother joined her. And the two of them were checking out, and we had the most amazing cashier. And he was talking with them, and the two ladies were talking back, and we'd had some really nice kind of weather. And the cashier said, "Oh, so, how's the weather out there?" And they said, "Oh yeah, it's looking pretty good." And I piped in because I'm not afraid to talk to people at in the cash checkout. And I said, "Oh, well, actually, I just received a notification on my Weather Network app that we're supposed to have really bad winds tomorrow." And they said, "Oh no, we're traveling tomorrow." I said, "Well, it's not supposed to start until the afternoon and the evening." They said, "We're taking the ferry, the 3 o'clock ferry tomorrow afternoon. It's the only time we can go." I said, "Oh, geez. Well, I have my fingers and toes crossed for you." And the mother looks at me and she just giggled and she said, "What about your legs? Would you cross your legs too?" I said, "I'm doing the pee dance for you all day until tomorrow afternoon." So anyway, we kept talking, and there were a couple of little, incidents as it happens when you're at the grocery store. I think one of them was they tried to tap, but their order was too high, so the tap didn't work, and it was the mother's purchase. And the cashier asked if she had Air Miles card, and she said, "Oh no, I don't do that." And the daughter says, "Oh well, I do that." And so she took a couple moments to dig in her purse to get her wallet, and then flip through and get her and to get her card out. And she just flashed it to the cashier so he could scan it with a little thing. And he made a comment. He said, "Oh, look at that! I just love that thing in your wallet. It must have been something, kind of cute and sweet." He said, "I'm a preschool music teacher, and I just love stuff like that." And I thought, "Oh, that's really cool." So anyway, we keep talking and we keep engaging. And then they're off on their way. And all I could think was, man, what an incredibly beautiful experience to have had. And it reminded me of, way back 2005, 2006, 2007. I was living in Nanaimo. I was doing a huge amount of training. I was, learning Reiki, and I was doing intuitive development and psychic ability and mediumship and pendulums, and anything that was spiritually based. I was there. I was in it. And at this time, I wasn't really out in the public doing an awful lot. I was mostly spending time with women who were doing exactly the same thing. We were all on, really beautiful learning journeys and healing journeys and understanding. And it was absolutely amazing. And the way that I would describe the energy that I experienced with these women, it was effervescent. And it reminded me of being young and having like a carbonated beverage, just after opening it up and pouring it while it's still super carbonated. And all of the bubbles, when you take a sip, like they come up and they tickle your nose. To me, that was effervescent. And that was exactly what these ladies' energy felt like while we were standing there in this 2 or 3 minutes rather, that they were checking out at the grocery store at Thrifty Foods at 8 o'clock at night. So there's actually a second part to this story, and I'll tell it quickly. So as I said, our cashier was absolutely amazing. He was very friendly and engaging and interactive. And even though we had a couple of oopses with different things, he was incredibly patient and just lovely. And I picked up on the fact that he was a preschool teacher who taught music. And I said, "Did I overhear you say that you taught preschool students music?" And he said, "Well, I'm a preschool teacher and I really love music and dance. So I incorporate it as much as I possibly can because the kids absolutely love it." And all I could think was, man, I am so grateful that we have people like this who are patient and kind and engaging and interactive and actively looking to make people's lives easier and better. And so I started saying to him, "Hey, you seem like you've got a really awesome personality. I'm so incredibly glad that you're a preschool teacher. It seems really fitted to you. And I'm so glad that, kids benefit from that." And he said, "Yeah, well, my journey was a little bit different." And he kind of leans back. And I should say that, he seemed like he was about 6 foot-ish tall, probably in his mid-20s, maybe, and of an average size and average build. That's the only way that I can think to describe him. And he says, "My journey, like I started a year and a half ago, but I was really different then." And he kind of puts his arms out like this. I don't know if you can see me, but he holds his arms like way out from his sides like this. And he says, "When I first started, I weighed over 500 pounds." And I was just dumbfounded. And he said, "Yes, I weighed over 500 pounds." And he said, "I realized that the kids weren't responding to me and they weren't showing up. And I realized that I had to show up for them if they were going to show up for me and for themselves." And so he said, "I started this weight loss journey." And I didn't ask him how much he had lost, but my goodness, my only guess can be that it was at least 200 pounds, at least, probably more than that. And it sounded like he'd done it in about a year and a half, 2 years. And I was just like, wow, that is incredible. Well done. And he continued on to tell me, and he said, and I met my mom at the airport, and she actually walked right by me because she didn't recognize me. And he said, "I hadn't told her what I was doing." And that one threw me for a loop too. I said, wow. Because when I think about when I'm doing things like big things like that, like transforming your body in that way, in any way, is huge. And I think about the relationship that I have with my mom and my entire family and all of my friends. And you'd better believe I'm telling the people who are close to me about what I'm doing, because I'm going to need their help and support going through it. And here was this young man standing in front of me who had done this amazing thing, was this incredible person. And I'm making assumptions about the relationship that he has with his mom, but all I could think was, wow, one of the people that I would go to for support in my life was somebody that you didn't reach out to, and you did it on your own. And it was just so incredible. So that was my 5-minute experience at Thrifty Foods at 8 o'clock on a Sunday evening. And this was 3 weeks ago, and it's still sticking with me. And all I could think is, we spend so much time running back and forth and to and fro and trying to get things done, and possibly being stressed about things, waiting in lineups, being frustrated by it, when here's a really awesome opportunity to connect with people who are in the same experience as us, living in the same community, buying food, buying groceries, doing human things. And it was such a beautiful opportunity for connection with other people. Awesome. Okay, so let's see. We'll go to the questions. Whoops, hold on. Where is it? Deb, hi. I'm so glad that you found us. I just commented on your comment, so I'm glad you found us. Hola, Carrie. It's great to see you. When the Saints go marching in, keeps on replay in my head today. Oh, that's fabulous. And Carrie says that she loves Thrifties too. Awesome. Hello, Chantal. It's wonderful to see you. Yes, I'm early because I'm doing Connection with Intention. We'll be doing readings momentarily, and then Bobbi and I will be going live at 3:30 Pacific. So in about an hour and a half, a little less than. So I'll be here twice today. Josie, hi. It's so good to see you. Thanks for joining us. And yes, I will take a look at that question for you momentarily. Hi, Margaret. It's great to see you. Hi. And Heidi, hello. And Catherine, hello. Thanks for joining us. Okay, before we get too far into it, when we start doing personal questions, I do really quickly want to do the choose your own crystal adventure, because I know that I'm not going to get to all of the questions today. So here's an opportunity for you to ask a question. Take a moment, breathe, relax, think about the question or questions that you want to ask. And as you think about your question, ask which crystal best represents the answer that you need for your question. So we have Angel Aura, Angel Light, and Citrine. It's Angel Aura, Angel Light, and Citrine. So I'm picking our Angel Aura card. And oops, this one was left behind. So that's our Angel Light card. And we have Citrine. All right. So think about your question or questions. Choose any one of the crystals, and we'll see what messages come up for you. Okay, so I'll start with the Angel Aura card. The card deck that I chose today is the Archangel Oracle card deck, and the card that's come up is Career Transition. This is Archangel Shamuel, and she is saying your life purpose is triggering a blessed career change. When this card comes up, it says that, hey, we need to be taking a look at how we're spending our time and how we're bringing in money, finances, and resources. And I say that because I recognize that not all of us are in a place right now where we are working, sometimes for unintentional reasons and sometimes for intentional reasons. And so I want to make sure that this is applicable to everybody. But the question that you're asking about does have to do with how you're spending your time, and potentially has to do with how things are going in your work life right now. And work can be a variety of different things. It can be how you earn your money and your financial resources, but it can also be, oh, hold on. I've just noticed we've had a spammer come on. Thanks, Margaret. I just saw her and we're deleting her now. Pardon me. So it has to do with work, has to do with where you're putting your energy, how you're spending your time. And Archangel Shamuel helps us to find solutions, so helps us to find other options, other opportunities, but also helps us to find solutions to problems that we're dealing with. So if you are in an experience right now where work is a challenge or a struggle, call on Archangel Shamuel, ask him for help and support. And I use him and her interchangeably for Shamuel. Ask him for help and support in finding solution, finding new opportunity, and potentially looking at larger career change. So there's a lot of things that are happening here. And actually, the biggest takeaway that I have for it is to call on Archangel Shamuel for help and support. If you chose the Angelite card, pardon me, the card deck that this is from is the Mermaids and Dolphins, and the card is A New Dawn. When this card comes up, it's all about fresh starts, new beginnings. It's talking about letting go of what you can from what has happened in the past. And I see this as being a card that it talks about having come through challenge or storm or difficulty, and now we are in a new place of peace. And one of the things that's really important when we move into new beginnings is to be aware of how much of what is from the past is coming into the present moment. So sometimes if we've been through a lot of challenge for an extended period of time, when positive things start happening for us and good things start happening for us, it takes us a little bit of time to come into a place of rest and relaxation where we're not expecting the worst, where we're not expecting the other shoe to drop. And so if you've chosen Angelite, the card that's coming up here is saying, hey, rest and be easy in what has happened and where you're going. The past is in the past, and we're able to focus on the present and the future. The worst is behind you now, and positive new experiences are on the horizon is also the message on the card. And then if you chose the citrine card, we pulled this one from the Messages from Your Angels Oracle card deck. And this card is the Daniel card. And Daniel's message is, I am the angel of marriage, and I am assisting you right now. So when this card comes up, yes, it can talk about marriage and relationship and partnership. So if you're having challenge and difficulty in romance and partnership and relationship, then Daniel's popping in and he's saying, hey, I'm here. I'm helping you and supporting you and your partner in the changes and the fluctuations that you're going through. But stepping back from that specific message, what this card is also saying is that relationship and partnership of some form are part of the message for the situation that you're asking about. And so looking to the relationships in your life, because that's where the answers are coming in. This can also be an indication not to be doing things on your own, but to make sure that you're open to receiving help and support from others and interacting and engaging with others along the way. Awesome. I hope that you got something really special and meaningful from the cards. And in just a moment, I'm just going to quickly go through and see if I've gotten rid of all of the spammers. Oh, no, we had one more. Sorry, guys. Missed that guy. And Robert, thank you. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Debbie, if you want to ask a specific question, I would love to connect with you. All right. So now I'm opening up the stream to people asking questions, and I did notice that there was one here. Yes, we have Josie. Okay, so hold on. Before I pop into questions, I'll also say, if you want me to use a specific card deck when answering your question, please mention it in the question, not in an additional comment. I don't see those right away. So we have the blue deck, which is the Mermaids and Dolphins. We have the green deck, which is the Messages from Your Angels, and the yellow deck, which is the Archangel Oracle card deck. Awesome. Let me see. So just saying hello to Tia, to Tamra. Oh, cool. Tracy's saying Thrifties and Courtney has the best Thai basil. Can't find this in Alberta. Oh, cool. Well, that's great to know. Let me see. And good evening. Awesome. Okay, we've said hello to everybody. Awesome. Okay, so I did see Josie's question, and I know that Josie's been on the show a couple of times, and I haven't gotten to her question, so that's why I'm taking her question right now. So Josie's asking, can I please get a read on our timeline for our grandchildren and their visits and their home situation? Okay, so hold on. When I tap in, what I'm seeing is like the imagery that I'm getting is of helium balloons and pulling down the helium balloons to ground them to support them. So it feels like part of the situation that you're dealing with is looking to, or what you're needing to do is looking to find the grounded aspects of where you are and where they are. I'm feeling a lot of energy and support going into making sure that the kids are as grounded as possible as they're moving through this and going through. But it does feel like we're just kind of pulling things down from the ethers and grounding them, holding on to them, and helping to maintain stability. I'm asking about the significance of the helium balloons. I am seeing something coming up in May. And it feels to me like there is some aspect of anniversary or celebration or acknowledgement or recognition. And that's part of the timeline that is being offered and presented here. So this could be a birthday or some other form of celebration or something else that is significant in the month of May. And that's part of what's actually helping to ground the situation with the kids, as well as helping to bring clarity in terms of what's happening moving forward. Because it feels like there are still some really big questions. I'm also getting imagery for stepping stones. So what I'm seeing is that there are a lot of steps along the way, but it feels like in May, things start to become really grounded and more certain, and the rest of the steps don't feel nearly as big or overwhelming or intimidating as perhaps the current ones do. Josie, let's just take a look at the cards for you. We're going to the Archangel Oracle card deck, and I'm also feeling a draw to like strong mother, grandmother energy, and I'm wanting to call that energy in. Interesting. Okay, so the career transition and the Archangel Shamuel card came up, and this was the card that came out for anybody who chose the Angel Aura card. Your life purpose is triggering a blessed career change. So I do see that as being potentially part of it, but I'm going to expand a little bit on this. So first of all, I'm wanting to connect with Archangel Shamuel and ask him for help and support in finding the grounded areas, the peace in the situations. And it's almost like weaving a quilt together. I have this piece and this piece and this piece, and I start to sew them together. I have this piece of peace and this piece of ground and this piece of ease, and I start sewing them together. And as I bring those pieces together, suddenly I have something that's starting to look bigger and fuller. And the parts where there isn't as much certainty, they start to kind of cling on to the pieces that are already established, and we're able to sew them in. The next part that's coming up with this is it feels like there might be a role that you are playing in their home life in some way. And it feels like this is potentially where that career change message is coming in, is that there is some opportunity for additional connection on your part, which potentially means that there's a bit of a shift and change with work and career, or that work and career is already in place of shifting and it's creating more peace and ease, which is allowing more time and energy for family and connections. But overall, I do want to check in with Archangel Shamuel because it feels like that's a big part of continuing forward and feeling positive about how things are going. And Josie, it's always a pleasure connecting with you. I'm so grateful that you joined us today. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Awesome. Let me just see. Perfect. Oh, Margaret says that she chose the first crystal. That's awesome. Excellent. And Chantel, yes, also felt angel light as well, too. Awesome. Oh, and Robert, I missed your message. You're watching from Ghana, Africa. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. It must be quite late there today, right now. Debbie, I think I've already asked. If you want to ask a specific question, I would love to ask for you. Okay, so Tia, we have Tia. Hi, Tia. It's great to see you. We do need to catch up. Absolutely. Let me see. Wondering if you can please tell me, is there any romantic potential between Tim and I? Not sure if I should pursue him or not, or if he'll pursue me. We work together. Ooh, that's interesting. Okay, so initially, first, whoa, there's a lot. I was going to say initially, and then a whole pile of other things flooded in for me. Okay, so the things that I have, there is chemistry and attraction on both sides. What I am seeing is a bit of hesitation around on his part around mixing work and pleasure. So I don't know if this is some sort of professionalism on his part, or if there's previous experience in this challenge. So do know that that feels like that is something that's a concern that will probably need to be navigated regardless of whether or not you guys connect or not. Because I do see this coming up to the forefront in your conversations. I'm hearing wanting to talk to HR. I don't think that you're at that point just yet. And it feels like I'm not 100% sure how HR kind of pops into it, but HR does feel like they're coming into play as we move into the later part of April and May. So that also is giving me a little bit of a timeline and time frame. We're basically at the beginning of March right now. So that says to me that we're still kind of taking a couple of months before anything is getting going. As I said, there is chemistry that's there. But when I connect with Tim, he's showing me that there are hurdles that need to be jumped over. He is showing me that he's running and jumping over the hurdles. So I don't think that that means that like this is a deal breaker for him, because it does. I am seeing that he is interested in making that effort, which I think is good. But it feels to me like you're probably going to need to be the one who's making the first move. And I suspect again that this has to do with the work situation that you're in, that it's possibly easier for you to make the first move than for him. And I think that that probably kind of gets really caught up in the culture that we're in around like sexual harassment and things like that. He feels like he's being really cautious and conscious of that, which I do appreciate. But it feels like there is a way around this. And I do see that there's interest on both sides. So I'm being drawn to the messages from your angels, and we're just going to see what other messages are coming up for Tia. Ooh, okay, so the card that we have here is the Azure card. Hold on. And her message is, your desired outcome will occur in the very near future. Have patience and faith, and don't try to force it to happen. One of the things that always draws me with this is that we've got the clock in the background, which is all about timing, that this is not something that can be rushed and forced, that you do need to take your time with it. The next message the next thing that I really notice is the angel and how she's kind of taking off. She's, not really looking back, but she is like leaning forward and leading with her heart as she's about to fly and to take off. We also have the doves in this as well. To me, that they also indicate peace. So it's not something that you can push and force. Know that it's something that will happen in its own time. But at the same time, it also feels like you'll need to make a move in order for things to come together, just because of the circumstances that you're in. Tia, it's always a pleasure connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love, and romance angels your way. All right, Tracy, if you want to ask a specific question, I would so love to do a reading for you. I'd love to connect. Okay, so Catherine, okay. So Catherine's asking about a grandchild, and pregnancy questions on the show are kind of a little bit of a trick for me. But let's see. Well, let's just be really open and see what comes up. And when I ask, I'm seeing two options and two openings. So I don't know if you have a couple of children who may be getting pregnant, or if twins are in the family. These two feel like they're separate. So what I'm going to say is I am seeing at least one child, but probably two children coming in fairly quickly, potentially later in 2023 and into the beginning of 2024. So that's also telling me that it's possible that these children haven't been conceived yet, because we're still pretty early on in the year, but far enough into the year that a full-term pregnancy would be happening a little bit later. But one is definitely coming, and then the other one feels like they're coming fairly quickly after. So Catherine, I do see grandchildren coming up for you, and relatively quickly, and not just one. Let's just take a look and see what messages are coming up for us. These are the messages from your angels. Well, this is a really interesting card. Oh no, okay, I see how it's coming in. This is Chantel, and this is actually the romance card. New romance is imminent, either with a newcomer or through reignited passion in your existing relationship. Be open to giving and receiving love. And as I said, it took me a moment to say, like, okay, well, we're asking about grandchildren. How is new romance coming in? Oh, I've just realized that new romance could also be coming in for your kids as well. And that's part of where the grandchild's coming in. So I'm not going to discount that. But it actually feels to me like the first aha that popped up was that this was a connection with new soul as opposed to like on a romantic level. And so like if we look at this, new connection with new soul is imminent, either with a newcomer or through, well, the reignited passion in your existing relationship doesn't really apply in this instance. Be open to giving and receiving love. And also, I'm just really drawn by all of the pinky purple in the card. It is entirely possible that the first one would be a girl. So, Catherine, thank you so much for joining us. I am super excited for you and for your family, and sending big hugs, lots of love and blessings to all of you. Thanks for joining us. Kai, hi Kai, it's great to see you. What energy surrounds me and coming up for me these next 3 months? Okay, so the first thing is that I feel like I want to hold on. I'm seeing a boat that's kind of rocking, and I feel like I'm wanting to hold on. It's interesting though, because the rocking doesn't necessarily feel bad. It feels like we're on the tail end of something. So that feels really positive. But it does feel like you're preparing to like take off, to launch, to do something. It doesn't feel like all of the things that you're taking on are completely your idea. Like the sense that I have that is that you are wanting to take steps and you're ready to take steps, but perhaps not feeling completely prepared to take them. And there is something that's just propelling you along and says, nope, you're ready. Let's go. So like, hold on, get ready for the ride. Call on your helpers, ask them for help as much as possible, because it does feel like you've got some pretty big change that's coming up. This, as I said, this does feel like it's positive. It feels like change is happening in several areas of your life, and in ways that you are ready and wanting to see change, just maybe not all at once. So it does feel like there's a certain amount of intensity. So to prepare for it, I'd make sure that you're doing the things that you need to do to support yourself. So self-care really comes up as a priority, making sure that you're getting back to basics. For me, getting back to basics is sleep, eating good food, eating on a regular basis, getting exercise, connecting with friends in non-drama kind of ways. So sometimes what I'll say is like, hey guys, I'm having a really difficult time right now. You know, I love and support you. But for the next couple of weeks, I'm not in a place where I'm going to be able to emotionally support you. But hey, if you want to connect and go for a walk or do something fun, or, you know, share funny memes with each other, I'm totally down for that. But right now, I don't have the capacity to support people going through like lots of ups and downs and drama. And I'm really blessed with amazing friends in that they totally get it, because they go through the same thing too. So we're able to tell each other that. So I'm feeling friends and other loved ones coming up to the forefront as being really helpful and supportive, but it is feeling like it's going to be a busy time and there's a lot on the go. Okay, Kai, we're going to the mermaids and dolphins, and we're just going to ask what messages are coming up for Kai. Oh, what's your thoughts? Okay, so this card's saying it's important to only think about what you desire and not what you fear. And I think that's a really interesting addition to come to the messages that were coming up for us. Because as I said, things feel like they're moving pretty quickly. They're moving possibly in kind of an intense way. So make sure that you're focusing on, hey, this might not be exactly how I wanted things to happen or in the way that I wanted them to happen, but they're happening. And that was what I was really wanting. So focus on the positive as much as possible. Focus on what you want rather than what you don't want. So you might, if you're doing affirmations, you might say something like, the healing and the changes and the transformations that I'm going through, may they be as gentle and as thorough as possible, so we don't leave a lot of loose ends. But Kai, I'm super excited about what's coming up for you over the next couple of months. It really does feel like it's exciting. There's a lot that's on the go. Know that you do have a lot of love and support around you. And I am also sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way too. I'm always grateful to see you. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so And Deb, thank you for asking a question. Deb's asked suggestion about the garden loss and seeming loss of hope for peaceful living. Okay, and the green deck. Okay, let's take a look and see what we've got coming up. Deb, oh, I am feeling that so strongly for you. When 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 I hear and when I read garden loss, it feels like there was more to the garden than just what was growing. It feels like there's sentimental value. And part of what I'm seeing is taking clippings of different plants that feel like either they've been there for a long time or they were really important and significant, or if they can't be, if clippings aren't possible or an opportunity, I'm seeing you getting new plants that represent them. And if there were people connected to any of the plants, I'm seeing inviting them either in person if you're able, or energetically, to help to guide you to the plants that are most appropriate to use to bring them forth. But I am seeing new garden for you. So either in the existing plot and area or something else. I am seeing a lot of what looks like container pots as well. So potentially that's what it is, but I'm hearing thinking outside the box. And it feels to me that the garden that you're building and creating actually ends up being as good or better than what has been lost. And part of that has to do with the new intention, with potentially like new learning that you're bringing into it. You're possibly doing things in a different way. And there's a renewed sense of bringing things together. So I'm sorry for the loss, because I do feel the depth and the devastation that you're feeling and experiencing. But I'm also seeing that there are benefits to this change as well, and that you are still able to hold on to pieces, aspects, and elements. And I'm also reminded of the fact that there's lots that you have learned and grown with this, that you're going to bring more to the next, that you build and create. So it isn't all loss. And then hope for peaceful living feels like it's coming right back to day by day and moment to moment. So I don't know if you were here for the messages that I shared with Josie a little bit earlier. Part of what I'm seeing is finding the moments of peace in the day to day, and that when you find those moments, you start patching them together and piecing them together. And because you're pulling them all together, you see that they're actually far greater than you realized, because before they were kind of caught up in little bits and pieces here and there. And it was difficult to see them because they were being hidden by other challenges. But in bringing them out and sewing them together, you're actually able to start seeing that, yes, there is a lot that is happening. There is a lot of benefit, and there are things that are positive. I am seeing the situation getting a lot better. And I'm just kind of hearing that there are potentially others who are involved with the loss. That's how it's being described to me. And that there will be change that's coming up with that. We've just had 2 cards drop out from the green deck that you had asked for. And I love this one. So the first card is Sonia. And it's interesting. I usually take this card out of this deck because it's a mediumship card that I'm not completely comfortable with, but somehow it is in the deck today. So I see that as being particularly beneficial, or significant rather. I bring you a message from your deceased loved one. I am happy, at peace, and I love you very much. Please don't worry about me. And it's interesting because I did have people that were coming up that felt like they were significant in your garden in some way. And it's possible that they have passed over, crossed over, or that you have a loved one on the other side who is either helping you to find hope and peace in the situation that you're in, and or is helping and supporting you with building and rebuilding the garden, or dealing with any of the challenges that might have come up with the loss itself, with the loss of the garden itself. But do know that you've got loved ones with you, and they are so ready to be there And then the other card that popped in is the Ariel card. New psychic and spiritual experiences are changing the way you view the world and yourself. Allow your spiritual gifts to open through study, prayer, and meditation. And this card to me feels like this is really addressing the hopelessness aspect of the question that you've asked, that things feel hopeless when we are feeling disconnected, disconnected from our world, disconnected from the things that bring us joy, that bring us happiness, potentially disconnected from God, source, universe, angels, ascended masters, whatever your belief is for what is beyond us, what is bigger than us. And when this spiritual card, like new spiritual awakenings, that says to me that it's important to start looking at the things that do already bring you peace, the things that you are grateful for, the places where you can receive help and support, where you can allow light in and open in. And if it's comfortable, that there are energies, beings of love and light that are happy to connect with you and to help you. For me, when I started my journey, I found it a lot easier to connect with angels than to God. And the reason for that was that I wasn't a religious person, didn't grow up with religion. My first experience with religion was in high school when we were learning about the Middle Ages and, and all of the wars that were fought in the name of religion and in the name of God. And for me, that just was a no-go. And so it was incredibly uncomfortable for me to connect with the idea of God as being something that was loving and beautiful. But angels were pure and beautiful, and they were always very loving and kind and supportive. And for me, that was what worked. But I would encourage you to find what and who connect with. And one of the things you can do if you're not already on that path is you can say, hey, I'm looking for help in finding peace, love, and light in my life. I'm only interested in connecting with energy that is also peaceful and loving, and see what and who pops up for you. Deb, I'm so glad that you joined us today. I'm really thankful. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love, support, and healing your way as well. Thanks for joining us. Okay, Chantel. Hi, Chantel. It's always so good to see you. I feel there's progress and an opening coming up with Little Bear. Oh, things that might happen fast. Any thoughts? Awesome. Let's take a look. So when I ask about Little Bear, so first of all, Little Bear comes through and feeling really boppy. I'm not sure if that was Little Bear's energy to begin with, but what I'm seeing is that there is still a lot of love. There's connection and contentedness, and I'm feeling happiness and joy. So please know that the experience that Little Bear has gone through hasn't had a detrimental, long-term detrimental impact on them. Yeah, I'm kind of seeing them. I'm kind of seeing Little Bear wandering the neighborhood. I'm wondering if there's some sort of great escape that's happening that's allowing Little Bear to come home. The feeling that I have is we're kind of looking at a 3-week period of time. There's something significant coming up in the next 3 weeks. We're the beginning of March, so I'm going to call that the beginning of April is kind of the time frame that we're looking at. I'm just going to pull a card for you. So we have the Hello from Heaven card. This is Archangel Azrael. And his message is, your loved ones in heaven are doing fine. Let go of worries and feel their loving blessings. I don't see this as being an indication that Little Bear has crossed over. I just want to be really clear with that. But it does feel like there is help that's happening on the other side that's helping to bring Little Bear home. And I'm feeling the need to call on them. Specifically, this speaks to deceased loved ones, but I'm seeing loved ones of all varieties. So if you have really close relationship with ascended masters or other beings of light, I'm really feeling drawn to call on them and ask them for help and support, and potentially even like leaving a latch open so Little Bear can make their great escape. But the next 3 weeks do feel like they're going to be a significant time. And my hope is that you are reuniting with Little Bear soon, Chantel. I'm so glad that you joined us. It's always a pleasure connecting with you. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support to you. And of course, to Little Bear too. Tammy, hello. It's always so good to see you. I'm so grateful that you're on today. And I was so grateful that you shared Lost Sock Town as well. If it's okay with you, let me know in the comments. I will be sharing that on my work page as well as on my personal page. And I'm feeling the need to just pop down and see. Oh, yeah, I figured we had a a spammer. My apologies, guys. That's the problem with doing the lives like this is I just don't see them soon enough. So yeah, and I do see that there are a couple of people who have commented any messages for me or anything like that. I don't do general readings. Please ask a specific question. I would love to connect with you. Okay, let's see. I know that we're running out of time, so I want to make sure I get to as many people as possible. So Carrie's asking, how close am I to going on a road trip? End of May is what I'm hearing. Though it feels like there could be something a little bit sooner. And I'm wanting to call this like a trial run. That's what I want to call it, a trial run. So end of May, beginning of June. Let's go to the beginning of June to be on the safe side. It feels like there's a fairly significant road trip that's coming up for you. But I am seeing something that's coming up a little bit sooner than that. And it feels like, as I said, it's a trial run. So with the road trip, maybe you have a new vehicle that you're looking at, and this is going to be a test to see, okay, well, how well does this work out in what I'm wanting to do? So that's what I mean by trial run. It feels like it's probably a weekend or possibly a long weekend that you're doing this. And yeah, it feels good. So it is coming up quickly. As I said, May, end of May, beginning of June also feels like that's a really significant time for either the start of the road trip, or it's like, okay, everything is a go. And now we're just dotting the I's and crossing the T's, and we're going to be gone for weeks or a month or something. But it does feel like it's a really significant road trip that you're planning and that you're preparing for. And it does feel really great. We're going to go to the mermaids and dolphins. We're just going to ask, what messages does Carrie need to know about going on the road trip? And also I'm hearing time frame and when. Let's ask about that too. Oh, interesting. Okay, so the card that we have here is the pay attention card, and the message is notice repetitious signs and your inner guidance, as this can yield valuable information. So when this card comes up, it says that there are a lot of messages that are coming up for you that are indicating what you need to do, what you need to focus on, and where you need to put your energy and attention. And the more that you, one, recognize those messages and then take action on them, the faster things come together. I purposely chose the Mermaids and Dolphins Oracle card deck for your card because they are all about manifestation, about bringing things together and bringing things to life. And so when it comes to asking for help and support and getting ready, call on the mermaids and the dolphins and the fairies as well. And one of the easiest ways to call on the fairies is to make sure that you're getting outside into nature and cleaning things up. So if you're on a walk and you see garbage, take a little bag with you so that you can pick that stuff up, because the fairies love to help and support people who are helping and supporting the environment and making sure that things are clean and clear. And it feels like they'll be part of your trip along the way as well. So definitely make sure that you're taking time to connect with the fairies. Carrie, it is always a pleasure connecting with you. I'm so excited about your road trip. I'm so grateful that you joined us. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Let me see. Brenda. Hi, Brenda. Thanks for joining us. Can you please tell me anything about my health and when I might be well? I've been so sick for so long. Okay, so first of all, when I tap in, it feels like there's something, I want to call it chronic, that you're dealing with. I'm having a difficult time pinpointing exactly what is going on, but it does feel like you're going through like a cycle and a circle. So there are times when things feel like they start to get better, and then you cycle back into something that's negative. And while I do have things that are physiological that are going on, I feel like we've got something that's underlying that's actually kind of keeping you down and keeping you repressed. So I want to preface this by saying, first of all, I'm not a medical health care practitioner. Please continue to work with your doctors and other medical health care practitioners because they have experience and I don't. That's their expertise. That's their field. And please continue to work with them. Call on Archangel Raphael if you're finding that you're not getting the results or the help that you need from your current team that you're working with. Archangel Raphael is the angel of healers, and he can help and support us in finding the people who are best suited to work with us in the things that we're dealing with and the things that we've got going on. Okay, so there's that. But there's also, what I'm hearing is that there is an extra weight that you're carrying around. This isn't a physical, like overweight body weight, but this is someone that you are lugging around with you. You are caretaking this person. It feels like potentially more on an emotional level, though it's possible that there's a physical caretaking aspect to this too. And I feel tired and drained by this person's energy. And it feels to me like there's a need for a change in, potentially in the relationship, but at the very least in the way that you interact and engage with this person, because that is a big part of energetically what is depleting you and preventing you from getting better on an energetic level. As I said, there are physiological things that are happening. You are going to need help and support from outside healthcare medical practitioners. But I kind of want to encourage you to incorporate counseling into that as well, because it feels like this is a relationship that is very interwoven in your life. And potentially this is a person that you rely on for support to a certain extent as well. And so that makes it extra complicated and challenging. And it feels like you're going to need additional support in navigating the change in relationship with this person. But I do want to encourage you to see about incorporating counseling into the work that you're currently doing, because it feels like you'll need a little bit of extra help and support in the logistics of, what does this look like? How do I want to deal with this? How do I want to move forward with it? And it's just more than I'm able to cover anonymously through like a couple of minutes online with somebody. But I do want to encourage you to take a look at that, because it feels like that's really what makes a really big change and difference. In terms of timeline, personal choice is really coming up with this one, because there are steps that you're needing to take on a personal level. In part, this is going to be dependent upon how much you are able to do and ready and willing to do. And I know with the level of discomfort that you're experiencing in your body, that this is not an easy thing to take on or to look at. So I do really want to recognize and to celebrate where you are right now, because you fought to be here, to be at that place, to be at this place. And that's amazing. But there's just a bit more that is needing to be done in order to move on in the healing work that you're doing. I have something that's popping up that looks like it's 3 to 4 months. And then I've got something that's popping up that looks like it's 6 months. And then I've got a whole pile of progression after. I wish I could tell you that there's like a miracle healing that's just around the corner and it's going to happen quickly and you're going to be all better. Unfortunately, that's not what I'm seeing. So I can't share that with you, but I do have a lot of hope, because I do see that there will be change. And I'm seeing that there's some pretty kick-ass energy that comes up in you that helps you to say, hey, like, that's it. I'm done. I'm done with this. And my body is ready. And the last thing that I'm hearing, and this is a challenging one, because I get frustrated when this message is given to me as well. But part of what I'm hearing is finding the love in your body, for your body, even though you guys aren't working together the way that you would choose. Because one of the things that can happen, particularly if we're dealing with chronic illness or chronic pain or chronic unwellness, chronic challenge, is it can feel like our body is working against us. and that's a relationship. It's a really difficult relationship to be in, first of all, and also a really difficult dynamic to start to shift and change. But that's part of what I'm hearing is say, hey, body, you know what? I love you. I'm really grateful that you've brought us to this point. It's maybe not exactly the experience that I would have wanted to have, but man, I'm really glad that you're here. And things that I've done in the past when my body has been rebelling against me is what I'm hearing for you, to check in with the organs that aren't working and functioning as they need to. For me, it was my uterus, and it decided that it wanted to hemorrhage for 2 years. And working with gynecologists and a whole pile of medical health practitioners and surgery and all of that, those things. It took a very long time. And finally, I said, hey, uterus, what is it that you want? And my uterus told me it was cold and asked me to start wearing socks and scarves. I never have anything around my neck, and I hate socks on my feet. And that's what it was. I mean, that wasn't all of it, but that was part of it. That was one way that I could say, hey, uterus, I'm listening to you. You're not alone here. Because obviously you're trying to get my attention for some reason, because you're doing a lot of stuff that makes life really uncomfortable and really difficult and really challenging. So I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to ask, what is it that you want? What is it that you need? And that was the beginning of building a relationship. Again, with my body after a very long time of illness as well. So I'm seeing coming into a place of love for your body again. And as I said, I know that's not necessarily easy. And also it feels like this is perhaps an extension of that, is looking at outside factors that are bringing stress, because there is something that's there that's pulling on you. And the card that we have is from the Archangel Oracle card deck, is Archangel Raziel, and his message is take back your power. Use your God-given power and intention to manifest blessings in your life. I mean, when I initially read that, take back your power, to me felt like, hey, that's change in dynamic in relationships, change in dynamic with your body, change on lots of different levels, coming back into awareness that you do have power and you do have control in your life. And it can be really difficult when you are feeling unwell to feel like you have any power or that you have any control. And what this card is saying is, yes, absolutely, you do. So take that back. And then the next step, hold on. Manifesting blessings into your life. Part of the way that we manifest blessings is we recognize the things that are already blessings in our lives. And again, I know that can be really challenging and difficult when there is unwellness, because it can consume you absolutely and completely. And when you are being consumed by pain and unwellness, it's really difficult to see the blessings that are there. But create a bit of space in your heart and focus on the things that are blessings. And again, sew them together, bring them together on their own individually. Maybe they get lost in the pain, but as you start gathering them and pulling them together, you sew them together, suddenly they make up a lot more of your life than they did initially. So bring them together and be in that place of gratitude for what is present in your life when you are focusing on bettering your health and wellness. Man, in this moment, I'm really grateful to be here with all of you. And when I if I was going to be doing affirmation or manifestation work, I would really tap into and hone into the feeling of love that I have to be able to do something that I enjoy, to be able to connect with people who are taking their time out of their day to be here to listen to me, like blah, 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 talk about angels on and on and on. I'm going to take all of that love and gratitude and appreciation, and I'm going to use that to fuel the things that I am inviting into my life, because I want to be grateful for those things that I'm inviting in. And when I charge those ideas, those energies with this feeling that I already have, that is existing, that is grateful, then it just empowers them more, and it makes it easier for them to come. And it makes it easier to discern when things are out of balance and out of alignment and out of a place of blessing. And Brenda, I hope that there was something in there that helped you. I'm so incredibly grateful that you joined us this afternoon. I am sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. Please call on Archangel Raziel, because he was here for the Take Back Your Power, but also Raphael as well. He really does help with finding the people that you need to connect with in order to get the results and the healing that you're looking for. So call on Archangel Raphael, ask him for help and support. And when you do go into appointments, call on Archangel Raphael and say, hey, I need help with communication. And I ask that the person that I'm seeing have the resources, the knowledge that they need in order to help and support me to my best and highest good. And if they don't have it, that they can point me in the direction to the person who does. Awesome, Brenda. Thanks for joining us. Josie, you are welcome. Oh, and Josie's saying we are going to court and May is the timeline we are possibly looking at. Amazing. Well, I'm going to say, hey, you've got those balloons and those celebrations, so be ready. Awesome. Light healer, I want to be successful in life. I want you to be successful in life too. That's amazing. I am sending that and I'm affirming that for you and with you. And yay to Tamara. That's awesome. Okay. Okay, so Heidi's asking, will there be travel and adventure with Kay in 2023? Yeah. It feels like it's there. And the way that it's the way that I'm seeing it is so fun. It reminds me of of a cartoon. And you know how cartoons are really kind of over the top? And I see like this briefcase, this suitcase, and the briefcase like springs open and then boom, 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 boom. There's a whole pile of stuff and everything's just there. It's all tidy in this little briefcase and then it expands. And it's just all there. So yeah, will there be travel and adventure with Kay in 2023? Yeah, absolutely. It's lining up. It's all tight and contained right now, but boom, it's going to explode. And you guys are going to be, I'm going to say, living in each other's back pockets, but really enjoying it, not like clingy and overwhelming, but just like going and having fun. This is feeling really happy and positive. So let's just pull a card for you, Heidi, and just see what's coming up. Around travel and adventure for Heidi, empowerment. You are more powerful than you realize, and it is safe for you to be powerful. So the feeling that I have here is that you're stepping out and you're being assertive and you're being firm. There's no tiptoeing around. And if things haven't been moving forward the way that you wanted them to, I'm seeing you getting really clear, like, hey, what's going on? Let's, if we're doing this, great, let's do this. If we're not, then great, let's not. But like, what's going on? I want to start planning for travel and for fun. Are you in? You want to go too? And it could be as simple as that. Is like, hey, you know what? I want to plan adventures for the rest of the year. I'm thinking about X, Y, and Z. You want to come? And just right out there. But yeah, you're more powerful than you realize, and it is safe for you to be powerful. One of the things that I love about this card is we have this mer angel, and she is in a place of darkness, but look at how illuminated she is. And we've got other mer angels around her that are celebrating her. They've got their arms open wide and saying, hey, like, look at you. You're wonderful. You're amazing. You're in place of celebration. You're in place of light and empowerment, and things are beautiful and things are gorgeous. So yeah. Take back your power. Don't give it away in this situation, and find out the answers. Let me see. And you guys actually, oh, sorry. We've come to the end of our time. Sometimes I'll go a little bit longer and a little bit later. There are more spammers. Sorry, you guys. Yeah, and normally I would go a little bit longer, but Miss Bobbi Rowntree and I will be live very shortly in the next half hour or so, and I need to get ready for that show. So I will just put in the comment here. This is where you can find us. Oops, this is where you can find us on Facebook. Did it come through? I think so. That is the Facebook event on my Heavenly Messenger page if you'd like to join Bobbi and I for Oracle Chat. So we will be starting in about half an hour, which is 3:30 p.m. Pacific, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, and a variety of other 30s at some other times for all of the other time zones. And I don't think we'll be doing readings today, but it's possible. And it's possible that Bobbi will stay on and do readings after because I'll need to go. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us. I'm sending big hugs, lots of love and support your way. If you want to book your own personal reading, I'd love to connect with you. You can do that on my website, bookingwitherin.com. And we'll be back in a couple of weeks to do this all over again. Take care, everyone. Thanks for joining us.